Welcome back to the Red Dice Diaries. This is my weekly vlog. I apologise, it's a day late. I was quite busy yesterday. However, this did allow me to enjoy the Road DM Jenny Green's Warhammer Fantasy roleplay game yesterday, which I'm going to talk a little bit about in a moment. In terms of other things that have been going on in roleplay during the week, the main thing for me was the wrapping up and culmination of our 21 session long Jadepunk Skyless City game. And the end of the campaign took a bit of an unexpected turn, I think it's fair to say. The videos for that, the actual plays, etc., are on my YouTube channel, and we're going to do a video in a couple of weeks' time where we're just going to have a little chat about our feelings about the end of the campaign, how we all thought it went, how we could maybe improve on it next time I do a campaign. General stuff like that, and that'll be probably an hour or two long hangout. And after that's done, we're going to be doing the session 0 for Thashif's Dresden Files game, which is going to replace my Jadepunk game. It's going to take up that same time slot, so we'll effectively be alternating between my Terror on the Outer Rim, Star Wars Edge of the Empire campaign, and Tashif's Dresden Files game, which I'm very much looking forward to. I've played in a couple of Dresden Files games, and I'm really looking forward to when Dresden Files Accelerated comes out. However, we're going to be using the original rules, but slightly tweaked for Fate Core, I'm led to believe from discussions with Tashif, and I'm really looking forward to that. I'm thinking of playing a Knight of the Fairy Courts, which is effectively a mortal who has been chosen by one of the great Fey courts to wield power in their name, and they're empowered by this experience. But in return, they are bound to the fairy courts and the dictates of their rulers. They pretty much have to do what they say. So I think that'll be quite interesting. I've always been interested in the Fey mythology, so I'm keen to see how that works out. The game's going to be taking place in 1940s, I believe, New York, which, from my admittedly shaky knowledge of history, I believe is the sort of just post Cold War era where there's still a lot of communist paranoia and stuff like that going on. So for supernaturals who are trying to keep on the down low, that could be quite interesting. And I think Tashif's going along with the idea of sort of occult investigators, which is very appropriate given the source material of the Dresden Files. So really looking forward to that. The unexpected twist I was talking about at the end of my Jadepunk campaign was effectively after unleashing this blood god on the city. And if you don't want to know how that session works out, you probably should stop listening now, because this is going to spoil it a little bit if you're planning to watch it. So I'll give you a bit of time to turn the video off if you wish. Okay, so anyone's gone who is worried about spoilers. Basically, after unleashing this huge blood god on the city, the players rendezvoused with NPCs who were planning to make a final stand and retake the city from this floating fortress, the Okibano Jiro, as it was called, which has been floating high above the city. Now, as they were doing this, Tashif's character concocted the idea that instead of trying to do this, as the blood god had sort of seeped back into the ground and disappeared into the sewers below the city, he took control of the airship with an old enemy of his. They made common purpose by some quite good social manoeuvring from Tashif to take over the airship that was ferrying the survivors to this floating fortress and to use it to destroy the white jade that was holding the floating fortress aloft. The fortress then plummeting down into the city with the effect of an asteroid plummeting from orbit, effectively detonating the city and destroying it, which obviously pretty much spelled the end of the campaign. Effectively, there was no cow sow for them to free anymore. So what I did is, rather than trying to drag it on and let it play out and see how, say, a number of years have passed, etc., etc., I had each of the players give a short epilogue after I described what was going to happen over the next few years. We tied it all up nice because there were a lot of nice revelations about earlier plot points in the final session, and I really enjoyed it. Thought it went extremely well. Great fun. All the players seem to have really enjoyed the campaign. I'm keen to see what Tashif can do with his Dresden Files campaign, and it'll free up more of my time to focus on the Star Wars game. Although I did very much enjoy running Jadepunk, and I'm sure I'll get around to running it again. It's a great game. Aside from that, NaNoWriMo has started, and I'm pushing to try and do 2,000 words a day. For those of you who aren't aware, it's the National Novel Writing Month, where people challenge themselves to try and write a 50,000 word novel over the course of the month of November. I did it last year and did a sort of zombie apocalypse novel, and I'm trying to do a sort of riff on fantasy tropes this year. I'm currently about 1,000 words ahead of the projected target for day 3, so I'm hoping I can push on with that and see what I can get out of it. Even if it's not anything that'd be worthy of being published, it's an enjoyable exercise, and it does promote some discipline when it comes to writing. In terms of more roleplay stuff, I've got an Aether Sea game, a Fate Accelerated game that I'm running this Saturday. I've also on the Friday got a short conversation with the people who are going to be playing it, or as many of them as I can gather as possible, to talk through character gen, answer questions about the settings. So that should be cool. And then on Sunday, I've got my Star Wars game, which means we're going to be down 1 player, and Tashif's going to be bringing in a new player character after his old one disappeared off to the dark side with a number of dark side clones. So I'm really interested to see how that goes, and I'm hoping I can take the plot a little bit more back to the core of Edge of Empire, which is the smuggling, the trading, the things on the outskirts of the Star Wars universe. It'll also be the first time that we're using the full Tides of Change rules. For those of you who don't know, the Tides of Change rules are effectively, after the second hour of play, you get the players to give a little soliloquy about what their character's thinking, what their thought processes are at that moment in time. Then each of the player characters suggests a plot twist. These are then posted in the Tides of Change Facebook group, which is administered by Andre Martinez and others. And the people in the group then vote on which of the tide changes should actually take effect in the game. And after a short break, the game continues with that plot twist in effect. So I'm really looking forward to see how that goes, and hopefully you will see me post a video of that this weekend. So till I see you in the next time, take care and happy gaming.